Hello, guys and girls. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the extended teams show here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. It is Thursday, the 5th of June, 2025. We are here, proudly brought to you by Mr. Cabinets, and we are here ahead of round 13 against the Bombers. We've had a week off. We did not have the team show last week, and I missed it. The team show for me is a rare opportunity to get to know you guys that watch a little bit differently. Obviously, we'll have a lot to present today. Press conference. We've got a few retrospective things that I want to bring to your attention. We had some updates from Nick Newman in the interview that he did on ball magnets. Got some updates from Jacob Weering, general chit chat, and we may even have time for a little season predictor. See how we go, because I've been asking everyone how many wins, but we'll get to that shortly. If you are tuning in, it's great to have you here. Who is here? I did see Kylie was first to comment, and Paul from a cold and wet UK. It's early morning. It's early morning over there. Do I think that Flynn may get a start on Sunday? I don't know. If I'm guessing, I don't think so. Maybe not just yet. Hello, Fermi. Here we are again against the Bombers in a season-defining game at 4-7. The lack of progression at our footy club is scary. Yes, it is. Has anyone seen or heard early mail about ins and outs? I'm sure we will have people tuning in shortly who will bring some of the mail. I think Alex Cincotta might play this week. Don't know why. We also do know that Silvani and Zach Williams will come in if they got through and get through training. So, yeah, early signs point to those three. You think this is the real Carlton? Tatum's tantrum. First half of 2023, second half of 2024, and the first half of 2025. Well, hey, if we are a yo-yo, that means something's happening in the second half of this year and a run is coming. And that would be true to form. Yeah. Kylie, yes, I see you. Dusan, Lou, hey, mate. Hyde, hello. Hello, Chills. Hello, Damien. Keeping warm. Yep, absolutely keeping warm in my hoodie. Hello, Jay. Hello, Wayne. We've gone nowhere since that prelim. Well, we went to, what were we? What were we last year? Was it? What was the best record we had last year? Was it like 12-4? Something like that? Hello, Julie. Alana, you are here. Rocco, you are always here. I love it. Denise, Andy, hello, mate. Christina Bombonati, Rachel. You heard that Harry didn't train. Yeah, I saw that. Xander Maguire posted about it on X not long ago. News to me. I got no idea. Haven't heard anything about that. We'll just have to wait and see. Frankie, hello, mate. Sandra, Anastasia Solakos, hello. Enzo, statement game. I think every game from here on in is a statement game. Have we actually won a game when they've given away a bobblehead? Didn't they give away a bobblehead last year when we beat the Bombers? I don't know. J Sports, second after Geelong win. Second after Geelong win. Kylie, hello. Kerno kicking 5+ on us this week. Oof, we have an Essendon man in the chat. Well, we'll see. We will see. By the way, speaking of Essendon fans, I would like you all to go and show some love to the newest star in the... Oh, she's... Okay, I think you guys have already started doing this. So I had a chat with Fiona from Bomber Banter last night and we posted it today. This girl's a star. Like, you know, when you just meet someone that like starts doing content and you're like, you were born to do it. She started the Essendon, and there are other fan channels, but she started an Essendon fan channel, similar style to this, fan cams, etc. I didn't know her. She reached out one time. She was watching the channel for a while, and she had that fear that most sort of people do. Check this out. This is like less than 2 months old. She's already on 912 subscribers. I know we hate Essendon, but you know what? I think what's more important is that all fans deserve a fan channel, and a good one. And I think we all enjoy what we have here and all the other channels that we have, whether they're podcasts or whatever. So get around her. If you haven't watched the interview with her, please do, because it was really insightful, and I really enjoyed getting a perspective on another club, but also the parallels and the questions that she asked me prompted me in a way that very few people have. So highly recommend Bomber Banter. Get around her, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, check out the interview. The interview is on this channel, but I highly recommend it. All right. Chichio, hey mate. Sipash, hello. Bon, hey mate. Xavier, Gastro is going through the club, which is why Harry didn't train. A few have been sick with it this week. Oh, great. Great. Jake, hey mate. As refreshing as the bye was, I'm so excited. Yeah, I think I said this on Monday. I'm kind of ready to hopefully be excited again. It's been a bit dreadful lately for me, personally. But we'll see. Jay, no better way to spend a birthday than watching the Blues content with the... Is your birthday today? Mate, happy birthday. Is your birthday today? Is your birthday on Sunday? What's the story? Fermi, you watched the chat with Fiona? Yeah, absolutely. No, she's a gun. What does the purple box mean? So YouTube have got a new feature in all live chats, and I don't know, you get points for comments and it resets, and there's like a leaderboard. Yeah, they're testing something out. I can turn it off if you don't like it. I don't really care. It doesn't really do much either way for the channel. I think it's just more to keep people engaged in the live chat. But I think it's going to be counterproductive because it might encourage spamming. But I guess if you're writing constant comments and asking questions, and I think that's a good thing. But yeah, anyway, it's something that YouTube are testing out. So that's what that's for. Has anyone used ChatGPT to learn how to beat Collingwood? So fascinating. No, I haven't. I have not done that. Watch some of the preview before coming on here. Get back to her later. She's great. Yeah, she's great. Yeah. No, it's good. Absolutely get around her. Came across Bomber Banter. It's a poor man's BA fan games. Well, look, listen, she's starting out. Let her go. Everyone deserves good fan games. Fan cams are tough to host, so respect for her just diving in. Hello, Logan. What's the mail? Silvani, Williams, and maybe Chincotta so far, but I'm still waiting for LS to jump in. Still waiting for J-Baggers to jump in. Harry was favouring one leg on Saturday. Okay. Yeah, there's a little bit of talk around Harry not training today. Jay, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday, mate. How young are you today? Everybody wish Jay a happy birthday. Hope you're having a great day, mate. Shane. Hello, mate. You had a quick look at our past 24 games. The last half of 2024 and the first half of 2025, we are 11 and 13. Pretty much sums up. We were below par over the last 12 months. Yeah. Started watching the chat with Fiona. You were impressed. We'll go back later and finish it. Yeah, definitely go back and tune in. Kylie, respect for a woman to start a channel. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely more of a challenge in this day and age for women to get out there. I have not a different perspective, but I don't look at Fiona as being, I don't look at her channel as being so awesome that it started because she's a woman. For me, footy's for everyone, and the sooner we can just normalize anyone starting a channel, the better. So I think she's great. I think she's knowledgeable. And I think the Bomber fans, just like the Blues fans, deserve good fan channels and good people running their channels. So, and people that, are willing to listen. A lot of people willing to talk, very few willing to listen. So, all right. Debbie, you are here. Hi. RSV is going around. My friend for Sunday's game is at 18-month hospital. Her partner is dying at home. Not good. Oh, that is not good at all. Bombers fans are really going to love us in their chat. Yeah. Well, I heard about this. Scotty Tompkins went in there and was running amok. So I don't know if Scotty's here yet, but we'll have to tell him to just chill out a little bit and get around her. Hey, Jake, you attended open training on Saturday. You're not sure if anyone else noticed, but McGovern seemed to injure some part of his lower leg. Looked like it was giving him some grief. Hopefully he's fine. Okay. John, absolutely. When you're good, you're good. Top Fix, you are a bomber. MA here. Been watching BA since 2022. Wow. Row the highs and lows with popcorn in there. Fair enough. I want to start with the... No. Yes. We're going to start with the presser. Vossi's presser. Then we're going to do a few other cool little things that I found, right? So Vossi spoke today. Mind you, wearing the blue cap. There's something about that. Slobber, you big dog, mate. We're back on teams. We're feeling good again. Please explain to me why we should support any other fan club. You don't have to. That's the truth. You don't have to. I just think fan content, obviously I'm biased towards fan content. And I think the quicker we grow fan channels as an industry, the better footy media will be. So, yeah, you don't have to follow any other club's fan channel at all. All right, let's have a listen. Vossi.
4 away.
After fresh off the bye, an opportunity to start advancing up the ladder and making a play.
Yeah, advance is a good word. There's even parts of our game that we'd like to see some progression in.
Sorry, just quickly. This man looks very refreshed. I think the best thing he could have done was get out of the country. Wow.
But anytime you get to the bye, it gives you a chance to just really take a breath and probably evaluate what's gone well. What are some of the things that we obviously clearly need to be able to get better? How are the personnel going? What sort of form are they in? And then, what are the small things that we need to be able to tinker with? I think you sort of get to this stage of the season and start to overhaul things. If anything, it's about repetition and reinforcement and looking forward to, the Essendon game on Sunday. So, it's a pretty big clash.
We know there's not been the big heart-to-heart at the Kerno Farm sort of thing, but how have you tried to...
Well, how do you know?
Well, that's what apparently Charlie said the other day.
Oh, did he? Well, he gave it away then. Yeah.
Unless you hosted.
No, definitely. Unless it was in Fiji. No, I definitely didn't host it. So,
have you tried to pull everyone together and, refocus for this second season?
I don't know if you can hear that. The question was, how have you tried to pull everyone together and refocus?
Well, we've had sort of, different points. Part of our connection piece is that you sort of hope that those more relaxed environments or feedbacks that you get, you're doing that all the time. And also what's important to us and, we talk about progression and improvement. One of the things we can hang our hat on is that there's been a real clear style of football that we've wanted to be able to play. And it's built off the back of what we want to value. And, they're the fundamentals of the game. They're sometimes the hard parts of the game. But we also know that we've got to have fun parts of the game, which is the ball in the hand and being able to finish our work. So I think there's a real clarity on what we're trying to achieve, and everyone's role within that. So we certainly don't feel like we've been in that position where we've needed to have to do that, because it's pretty clear for us, and probably just needs a little bit more repetition.
How are Jack Silvani and Zach Williams progressing their tests for this week?
Yeah, pretty good.
The question was around Jack Silvani and Zach Williams. This is, I guess, when he confirmed.
They'll have to get through training. That's the ultimate test in any week. But no, we expect them to play. Yeah.
George Hewitt's just signed into the club.
Yeah.
It's probably taking a bit more dough out of the club's pocket than maybe if you signed at the start of the year, but great to see him commit.
That's true. It's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, he's look. I think there's not a person that wouldn't stand up here and say they don't love George Hewitt because he's just, he does the simple things really well. He embraces, the contest part of the game, and he loves doing a role for the team, and he keeps it really simple for himself. And with that comes a real reliability in the way he performs. And he's been challenged on a few fronts over the last couple of years to look at what he adds to us, and he's been able to do that for us. He's just such a great teammate, and he's earned that contract extension.
Is Jack Silvani's contract probably the next priority for the club?
That's a great question by Xander Maguire there. Is Jack Silvani's contract extension next?
Hoping something obviously clearly eventuates there. So like a few others, but look, we don't tend to go into too much dialogue around those sorts of things. They figure themselves out as the year goes. But what's more pleasing for Jack is that he's found his niche. He's probably for a long period of time trying to find that role that he could sort of say is his own. And we took a bit of maybe an educated view on it to sort of see whether we could get something different down back. His personality type suits the defence. They're sort of a bit more different down there. So he loves to compete, and he loves to be on that last line and put it all on the line. And he's really gelled with our back 6-7. And we talk about advancing our game. One of the things clearly in the first half of our year is we feel like that big back 6-7 has been pretty consistent in their performances throughout the early part of the year, and they've built a real sort of, I guess, mateship and reliability around one another. And so we want to keep trying to reinforce that.
Just back to Jack, how have you seen his progression? I mean, it's almost as if he's flying under the radar next to Jake Weeder and down back.
Yeah, he says he's Weeder's partner, and he lets Weeders do what he does. And I think that's probably the strength of the relationship. Really, is that having him there enables probably Weeders to be able to do what we're needing to do within our system, and gets to play to his strengths. And we understand not one player brings every single thing to the game, and that's why we lean on each other as teammates, because we all bring different strengths to the table. And but those two in partnership seem to have worked, and they also hold each other enormously accountable. They're not afraid of the hard conversation to have with one another. So it's been really pleasing the first part of the year to be able to see that relationship form. Obviously Hainsey down there as well, who's sort of been new into that mix, has been important changes for us down back.
Is there acknowledgement within the club this week about what that Essendon Carlton rivalry means to the fans and sort of the occasion of a big Sunday?
Question is there an acknowledgement about what the rivalry means?
Tonight, slight leading to a public holiday at the G.
Yeah, it's one of the unique things we get. When we talk about being one of those clubs that has those rivalries with Collingwood and obviously with Essendon and Richmond, and so when you sort of turn up, you just expect 80,000 plus to turn up to the event. I've got big supporter bases. The rivalry is real. Don't like each other, and and hopefully that when you come out and you compete, and it's sort of that becomes that more combative style each other, and don't like each other, and and hopefully that when you come out and you compete, and it's sort of that becomes that more combative style of football that you're after. And we've had our rest now. There's no excuses for us. We go out there and put our best foot forward and kick off the second half of the year, and obviously we get to do against an arch rival.
When you review the Bombers over the last few weeks, is the lack of tools and I suppose experienced tools on their side something that you look to exploit in particular?
The question is the lack of tools at Essendon. Is that something we'll look to exploit?
Yeah, well, it's also sort of then puts obviously some more smalls there too as well. So just trying to mix and match. There is an element of unpredictability, but I think we've seen enough of them over the course of the year of the style of football that they are trying to play. Clearly, the aerial threats are a little bit different to what they've been. But like looking at them against Brisbane last week, they seemed to manage that okay. They were able to finish off the game really strongly there. So I'm sure they get some confidence out of that. So there's a couple of things to think about, not just what their aerial threats are.
bit of talk about ultimate come for Sam Walsh with the youth bonus deal. What did you make of seeing a bit of that?
Yeah, there's a bit of speculation about our boys over the last week or so. I nearly fell off my daybed in Fiji when I read some of it. But look, like hypotheticals, it's really difficult to answer a hypothetical question. Like I think these boys know how valuable they are to us as people and as players. So I tend to deal with what's real as opposed to what's hypothetical. So probably leave it at that.
How important is it for you to have, because we've seen both of them have absences over the last few years, to have both Harry and Charlie? Because I think so often the trade rumors talk about, do you ship out one and focus on the other?
It's an interesting question. Talking about how do you deal with the trade rumors that you may need to trade out one of Harry or Charlie.
All I would say on that is that extremely important to us, and have since my time here over 4 years. Having those two up front. I'm also fortunate enough to be able to talk to a lot of opposition coaches, and I know both of them come up in conversation quite a lot. So when you've got them together and they're genuine assets, they can be distinctive assets for you and distinctive strengths. And what I'll say is that talking as a coach, I love having both out there, both playing in good form, and I know how hard they are to play against. I know how much better we are when they're both there. So from our point of view, it's that makes a bit of an easy decision when there's any other speculation that comes with it.
Just back on the Bombers quickly. A bit of criticism of the Bombers through the year has been how much they're probably the best 1, 2, 3 players, how much of the heavy lifting they do. Do you look to maybe try and take out a Zach Merritt or a John Caldwell out of the game with a tag or something?
I think he's asking about if you're considering a tagger.
Yeah, I think they've also, it's probably a bit unfair a little bit to them, because I think they've had a couple of other guys that have stood up from what I can tell, and they've sort of added to their midfield depth. We talked about Caldwell there. He's had a really good year, and seeing the impact that he's had in some of the games this year has been really impressive. So there couldn't be too many people that run around with getting that many disposals in a quarter. So there are a number there. You have to balance that against how much that disrupts other areas of your game. Clearly, we'd love them not to have the impact on the game, to at least minimise it. I don't think you ever take it away, but at least we'll try and minimise. So we've got to have some attention on that. We haven't, if I'm looking for advancement and we're looking to get better, it's an area that we haven't got right in the last few weeks. So we'll need to put some attention towards it for sure.
There you go. That's the way he said that's something we haven't got right. I feel at times they're pretty hesitant to use that language. So that was interesting.
Sort of elevate, given talked about they don't have a huge amount of tools down back. Harry and Charlie, the delivery that they can get, if you can get on top of stoppages. Yeah,
and again, it's about opportunity. It's the early parts. We're quite happy with the opportunities we've been able to generate. We'd like to be able to finish our work a little bit more, a little bit more reward. But it's come with good opportunity. So the refinement is, around a number of things, but having their presence forward of the ball and being able to sort of obviously impact in the air, it not only affects your aerial contest, but obviously affects where the smalls go and their presence on the floor. So we've gone a little bit more to work on that, just to sort of see how we can maximise that even a little bit more. And we're looking for 2 or 3 extra times here. It's not like we're looking for 10, 15 more times here. It's about that refinement and that repetition, and hopefully we can get the impact that we need.
We know Graham Wright's involvement is ramping up. What have you noticed so far? Anything he's implemented, and what are you expecting as these months unfold?
Questions around Graham Wright. What's he implemented, and what are you expecting?
Well, Wrighty's first come in is probably more about just his relationships, and so there, I don't suppose it hasn't been a department he hasn't spent time in. And one of those clear parts of that relationship building is communication. So, fortunate that he's probably been able to get around to most areas and spend some time within it when it's needed. And being able to bounce off that sort of experience as well is always extremely helpful, as whether it's either some mentoring or whether that's some guiding or helping making some decisions. So he's been really good like that. As fortunate as we are with Cookie and also Righty, I sort of find it quite strange that we could find a negative in that in any way. We've got 2 seasoned leaders who are extremely experienced at what they do. From what I've seen, the transition has been fantastic and a great opportunity for our football club. I just don't really see too much a negative on that.
Do you think Roddy will be a bit more involved in the football department side of things?
No, I can't.
Question is, do you think he'll be involved more in the football department side of things?
Couldn't tell. I mean, that's a bit early to tell. I mean, I think we all anticipate he has a more footy slight on things. So I would anticipate that would be the case, but that would be me taking a guess rather than necessarily knowing that as fact. What I do know is that this is a big club. It's a very, very big club. And we're commercially obviously very sound. Even as recent as last week with some, obviously important initiatives that we've been able to get with an imagery centre. And so there's some really exciting things going around the club. So it's a big club, but, at the same time, obviously football's our core business and we want to make sure we get that right.
Exactly. Bang on.
Even as recent as last week with some, obviously important initiatives that we've been able to get with an imagery centre. And so there's some really exciting things going around the club. So it's a big club, but, at the same time, obviously football's our core business and we want to make sure we get that right.
Just quickly on Pace, didn't train on the Saturday. Charlie said he had a couple extra days off.
Yeah, give the older blokes a little bit extra days. Yeah.
So he's back in the club and
yeah. No, we just a couple of guys. I mean, Doc was the same. He had a couple of days off, and I even looked after myself and had a couple of extra days as well. So no, they're all fine. It's just sort of part of how we individually manage each playing group, and if we need to give them a few extra days, we'll do it. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Cheers.
Thoughts. I said this on Monday. There's like a quiet, I don't know if it's a quiet confidence or a loud incompetence. Like there's just a sense of calm. I'm going to play a few other clips shortly as well. Weering is going to be one. Nick Newman will be one. And if it was any other club, I would probably interpret it as these guys know it's all about how you finish, not about how you start. But I think because there's an emotional attachment to Carlton and it's doomsday and we want it so bad. I just can't decipher whether it's quiet confidence. Anyway, what do you think? Nicholas, we will do trade talk when trade period happens. We got lots of time before then. Right now, we've got to win games. But I don't know. I don't know who would take him. But, I mean, things can change. You thought he looked tired? I thought he looked refreshed. I thought he looked buzzy and zippy. I mean, obviously, Robert Walls passed away before the bye. And I remember you could sense the weight of that. I thought he looked a bit more tanned and a bit more fresh. 2023 repeat. Can I get Catman on? Don't know. No thoughts yet. You're eating pizza. They know how to drag us back in. Yeah. Work's a treat. What do I think about the ins and outs? I'll get there in a minute. Disillusioned Raptors confidence. Okay, fair. Unfounded arrogance. Oh, okay. That's just the way everyone's speaking. Not like us, where I wouldn't say supporters are panicking. We're devastated with how things have played out. They just seem to have this cool, calm collectedness about, yep, things are going to turn. So I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Hello, have I seen the bobblehead video? Of course I have. Of course I have. Playing Essendon, Northern Eagles, he knows we should win. The real stress will come after round 16. Well, I don't know if we can have that attitude anymore. We literally lost to Richmond up 41, thinking exactly like that. So I don't know. His front-ended would be much. Yeah. Love the last sentence he said of that video. We'll see Sunday at around 10 p.m. Well, that's true. We can guess all we want. If Cincotta comes back in, go straight to Martin. He's been damaging for the Dons. I think he would go to Merritt. I think Merritt is I mean, Martin's damaging, but I think Merritt is just that good. Albert, talk's cheap, mate. Need to see something tangible, of course. Caden, there's moments of positivity, but with a lot of Aussie presses, a lot of guardedness and ambiguity about the stuff that at least I want to hear, like what's being tickered with other than things. I don't know if we're ever going to really know the intricacies in a public presser as much as we want to. No one asked Voss how is Elijah Hollands going. True, no one did ask him. I don't know what's happening there. No update on that. Billy, you are locked in. Sick. Personally, I'd rather them come across as well, yeah. I think if they acted like the fans, would be worse because we're very emotionally volatile. We're up and down. It's burn the place on a weekend, and then by Thursday we're sucked back in looking for a reason why we can win. So I do agree with that. I just I don't know. It's just very confusing. No such thing as an easy win. Exactly. After the Richmond loss, nothing's promised. Yeah, I don't know. We just can't be thinking that way anymore. Ever again. Remember Voss's spray at 3/4 time against the Dons, 2022? Was 2022, was that the year that the ball hit someone's head? Like Redmond's head or something? Is that one? If they play Merritt off the halfback again, I wouldn't be too concerned about him. Yeah. Can we have a combined fan cams with Bomber Banter if we win groundbreaking stuff? Oh, I don't know about that. I'm just going to reinforce the rule after old mate from Geelong wanted to come on the fan cams and just act a fool. It's Carlton only fans. Unless it's someone that I know won't be a dickhead. Like if Jake wanted to come on, I would always have Jake on. He's pretty good. I don't think he would bait Carlton fans. Actually, I don't think most of these people would come on here if they lost. So, yeah. Speaking of the Saints, Taylor, we need this win, mate. We need more than this win. We need divine intervention. That's what we need. Jen, you're glad they didn't ask about Lige. He needs all the space possible. That's true. When he's right, we will hear about it. In the meantime, got to leave him to heal. Yeah. Orazio legacy game. True. Orazio, he should be ready to go. Huss, hello, mate. Ben, you think the weight of expectations proved to be too much for the boys? Yet again, we can't keep our heads in the game when the pressure comes. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I wanted to play something here. So we played earlier in the week. We played the 2023. Like we sort of covered 2023 against the Bombers, the whole, and it was gross and yada, yada, yada. This is from Carlton Blues fans. This is 12 months ago. This was round 13, the fourth quarter. Check out these highlights. I don't know. I just thought this was really interesting. This was the end. This was the fourth quarter last year against the Bombers.
Cripps on the 15. Doesn't get it to Chincotta in the air, but he can do the work on the ground. Nothing a tagger likes more than to hit the scoreboard. Does he size it himself? He sets it up. Off Curnow. Williams. Goal.
Charlie, and here we go. There's the scores from turnover. 7 goals, 2 to 2 goals, 7.
Over to you.
Yeah, looks as though the Bombers.
Holding. Who's need a steadier or two. And they get them early in the last. Right-hand corner of the screen. He's had 4 clearances in this last. Hollands again. Deep to the pocket. Durden works. Short. Yep. Durden snaps around and adds another.
Joe.
Yeah, it'd be terrific. And just the midfield for Carl.
Curnow. Chincotta.
Oh, yeah. Gets his second for the term. Second goal in the last quarter, and he's had a terrific night on the Essendon captain.
So there's that. Obviously, Cincotta kicking those 2 goals would be the standout there. I hope he plays this week. Okay. And then let me show you the fan cams from last year. So this is just the start. It's Pommy and I. We did 3 hours of fan cams a year ago, round 13, same fixture. Just take a listen. We've already done 2023 fan cams. We looked at it last week. We looked at it Monday. Like, do you just want to sit here and pity? Hide? This was the sentiment last year. So keep in mind, we went into last year's game 8-4. We win this game, we're 9-4. You'll have to wait for a little bit, but I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Might pour a glass of red and enjoy it. And we'll go from there. These are the special times. Here we go. 9-4 at the bye. Let's get 9-4 at the bye 12 months ago. We're now, we'll see. Could be 4-8 or 5-7. Let's get Pommy in. Hello, mate.
Hey, mate, I think it's fitting. You know, King's birthday. You know what I mean? Sending victorious, happy and glorious, Lord to reign over us. God save the sink. Tell you what, absolutely towed up that melt, isn't he? Fucking, what's he called? I've just got a message from Cincotta. He sent me a picture of him getting home. This is what he sent me. He texts me going, "Hey, Pommy, who's this fucking wet wipe in me pocket?" I was like, never seen him before, mate. I've heard he's pretty good, though. But yeah, hey, tell you what, how good's this? You know what? We could sit here and digest the game, but I mean, let's be honest. The game writes itself. You don't need to fucking watch that again. But just, I want to take a moment just to remind ourselves. This time last year, man. You know what I mean? Like, we were fucking low.
Yeah.
Lower than a snake's dangly bit. Weren't we?
So, saw that bit there. I'm like, yeah, like, great. We were happy. Put a smile on my face. And then he references there around 12 months earlier, which was 2023. So I guess the question is, so many questions. You know, first question, I mean, we were 9-4 12 months ago after this game. Yeah. Looking like we'd figured it out, and it capitulated. Injury list was pretty high at the time after 9-4. I don't remember exactly who was on it at the time and what the situation was. I reckon Cottrell might have still been on it. That's the key difference this time around. I mean, the win-loss is completely in the opposite direction. 4-7 going in. We're either going to be 4-8 or we're going to be 5-7. Williams and Silvani will come off this injury list. So really there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 of which are still eligible to play this year, 3 of which season ending unless Nick Newman comes back. So like this is the key difference here. We've actually got a really healthy list right now. And that was apparently the biggest issue last year as to why it fell away. So what would you rather? 9-4 and limp to the line, or 4-7 and finish strong? What would you rather? And here we are again. We were happy once upon a time. It can be easy to forget. Am I having people on? Yeah, I can have people on today if you'd like to join. Always welcome. I'll put the link in. I want to show a few videos shortly. We'll see. I said that before the first game. Yeah, probably. No, I'm not assuming we'll finish strong. I'm saying, what would you rather? Like, are you so mad that no matter what happens in the second half, it won't be good enough? Like, why can't we go on a run and make changes? Why can't we do both? Rather a small injury list whenever we finish. No excuses. Polar opposite. Last year, Hewitt gets dropped. This year, contract extension. True. Did he mention? No debutant this week. He didn't. Sorry, he didn't mention a debutant. I would guess they would have announced it by now. 4-7, 16-7, living on the coast. Sergio. True. How about 9-4 finishing strongly? That's true. You want to see a turnaround, but you sort of doubt we're capable. No, we're definitely capable. You know that we're capable. It hurts to have hope because you've been let down. You know they're capable. Stop that. You of all people know we're capable. I've seen your comments, mate. Okay. Oh dear. Captain Bobblehead. Hello, sir.
G'day, Tez.
What have you got here, mate?
I've just got our 3 trade targets, apparently. Got the 3 trade targets in. We've obviously been listening to all the media and the coach and, people scoffing that we would trade these 3. And I always go, as a fan, I'm like, yeah, that's like, why would you trade such good players? And then I'm like, we're only having this discussion because we're soul searching every year. It's always we're really good and then just bottom out, or we're really shit and then we go on an increase. And I go, you can avoid that speculation by just being somewhat consistent, That
would help. Well, mate, it's rock bottom when trade Harry or Charlie or Walsh starts getting a run. Like, it's soul searching, as you said, rock bottom, big hole stuff.
And it's just frustrating as a fan. No doubt you hear it all the live long day, but it's just so frustrating that every year we have to go through the same thing. And it's like every year we think, we're going to avoid that this year. And then we're back in it. And, like you asked the question, like, where would you be? Would you rather like start really well and then sort of peter out? I'd like to be 7-4 right now. We should have beaten Richmond, should have beaten Sydney, and we should have beaten GWS. So that's 7-4. Correct me if I'm wrong. And, we're not the best team, but we're just doing what we need to do. But again, it's like, we're not. And it's like, oh, why? And, like, I watch so much on this club. I'm just like looking at that presser from Voss. Like, that irritates me watching him. Just small. We got small things. We got small things. And he just repeats it and he backs himself in, as any coach needs to do. But every now and then you just want to hear him go, yeah, our forward entry's shit and we can't score because of that. And we flood. And that's why we can't run back all the time. And that's why we fade out late in games. And we are addressing those things. That's it. Just say something like that, like it still doesn't make everything okay, but it's, I don't know, it's sort of, I take it like it's almost insulting that he's like, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. We just got a 1% to fix. I hate that. And that's me just beaten down by this club year after year. That's where the frustration stems from. So I hope it is something small. Like for him, I hope it is something small, because that means we'll get it right and we'll start winning games. But yeah, it's just the small things. Is it so small? If it's small, you can fix it generally pretty quick, I would have thought.
Do you think it's not small?
No, I think it's bigger because of the consistency the inconsistency in his tenure of doing really well, then bottoming out, and then doing really bad, then going up. And, it's 4 years in a row where it's been this massive yo-yo effect. And that's why I think it's something bigger.
When was the last time you remember us being consistent?
Terry, I can't.
Same. I don't remember. I think maybe 2011-ish, but we were win-loss. We didn't like go on 4-game losing streaks too often from memory. It's also funny reminiscing about 2011. A post came out this week about the three amigos and Jeffrey Garland and Chris Yarra and Eddie Betts. And I saw the comments. I was like, oh, we'd be winning a flag if we had him right now. It's like, no, we wouldn't. I remember the rhetoric back then. We're not good enough with those three small forwards. It's just funny when you look back and the fantasies kick in. But yeah, I don't really remember being consistent ever.
How old are you, Terry?
34.
Okay, I'm 41, so I've got a couple of years on you. I remember the 1995 year, and it was just a stupid, they just kept winning, and it was just stupid. It was just winner. It was like a 16-game streak, and I remember I made a bet with someone, and he kept saying, "Oh, double or nothing," and he did that 16 times in a row and didn't end up paying the bet. So, if we're going to talk consistency, I remember that year. So that was probably the most consistent that, you could ever be. That was just out of control on how many games that they won consecutively. But yeah, you're probably right. It's probably, that mid sort of 2000s. But I can't believe anything that I see or hear now. I just have to see it. All right, you've got small things to fix. We'll fix them and get a couple of wins on the board. Don't. I think the big thing for me that'll tip me over back to believing that the club's doing well is by knocking off an opponent that's really, really good. So beating a Collingwood, at the MCG, beat someone like that, beat someone like an Adelaide at Adelaide Oval or a Sydney at the SCG, and rather than always, we got close and we didn't win. When you start showing those kinds of signs like we did in 2023, that's when fans can get more engaging and get that love back. Because at the moment, and I've watched so much of your stuff, it's fans are just over it. I know I'm over it. I used to watch games in the bye when we didn't play. Now I don't even want to watch football anymore because I'm just so disenchanted with the game. And it's, I don't want to blame this club, but it's I love AFL and they just put you off it because we want to be excited about our club and we're just not. So
yeah, it's meant to be bringing us joy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, everything just points to football now. They can't, the imaging center's done, they were excited about it. It's done. It's okay, we added another feather into the off-field cap. Great. State-of-the-art facility. Great. It's just football now for this year, for the rest of this season. It should be just football always, but it really is there's nothing else happening at the Carlton Football Club other than football performance. And even from an individual point of view, I think there still might be 11 or 12 out of contract players. So there are a lot of guys still out of contract who need to perform for their next one. And so we're going to have to see something from them as individuals if they want to stick around. So
there's so many in the group. I was looking at it the other night and I was just who would you, keep, delist or trade, and sort of played that game. And there's so many of these players that we're if you got rid of them, you'd probably get nothing in return, or who would you recruit? And it's sort of scares you a bit more on what our team's going to look like next year, your Adam Sards and your Mitch McGoverns of the world. And obviously they just signed George Hewitt, and what are they going to do with Sauce? So it's a pretty pivotal time, I would think, for our club and what they're going to do from a list management perspective. I don't know. We seem to be having some luck with some of these mid-season recruits like Cooper Lord, and hopefully this what's his name, Flynn Young. He looks pretty good, so maybe he'll do something for us in the future. Can't be any worse than our mate Francis, I wouldn't have thought. So
poor Francis, just cops drive-bys. Guy just tries to play football.
He's sort of I don't know. He's become the scapegoat. He's become the Lucky Plowman of 2025, maybe.
Well, yeah. Francis, I think Motlop's having his. I think Ollie had his turn last year. Motlop's definitely having his turn at it this year. Francis Evans, I've seen Francis Evans cop drive-bys in games where he hasn't even played.
Like,
I'm just like, the poor guy, like, it's not his fault. Like, he got drafted.
he's not even on the field today. Yeah,
He wasn't even
I think
playing last week. We did the
Yeah.
ratings. It's like, he didn't even play. It's like, why have we got Francis Evans on the list? Like, mate, he didn't even play this week.
it's it is unfair. It's just, again, people's just emotions spilling over. I think you sort of start to hear about the future and what we're bringing in. And obviously they released that Jagger Smith. Oh, that killed me watching him run the other day. And you could see in his face, like, they're getting around him, but he's just like, man, I just want to be out here doing something for this team. Like, you could see it in his face. So that really sucked watching that. It was good to show where, that he's finally back on the park. But I'd really love to get to see him up and about. Just quickly, I'll let you go because I don't want to take up too much more time, but I've been catching some Essendon games, and I know people probably say, oh, Brisbane weren't really trying or whatever, which I don't really believe. Once you're on the pitch, you're not going to purposely go 10%, but the way Essendon are moving the ball really had me worried last week, because I was like, man, we don't generally match up well against teams that play like that. And they're so injury ridden. So I think it's like the GWS game. You go in thinking, oh, they've got so many key players out, we should just walk all over them. So I think this is I think it's a tougher game than what people think this week. I think they're playing not a bad brand of footy, and if it's one thing for me, I think that it looks like to me almost like they've got no shackles on them. And it kind of looks like that's where we're going wrong, is we're very, the shackles are on. We're trying to play a system that clearly isn't working. And, maybe they just need to be freed up a little bit to play their natural instinctual type of footy. And if we do that, maybe the system can click.
It's also easier to play when the whole world expects you to lose badly.
Yeah.
And so it's different when you have expectations to win. And they've also, as a club I was speaking to Fiona from Bomber Banter last night, and we put the video up today, and she was saying, we're not rebuilding, but we are, but they just haven't said it. So it can be a lot easier to be there when the external's not putting heat on you because you have injuries or you're rebuilding and yada, yada, yada. Whereas on this side, we come into the season saying, hey, we need to make top 4. So that's a whole different. And then compounded by we're 4-7, and we were saying top 4 start of the year, and we're already talking about fucking Cody Walker in 2 years, and Jagger coming back next year, and trading one of the big boys, and so it's a different mindset.
I think, that you're definitely right there. When the expectation is tempered, you sort of maybe. But the thing we don't see is how much of that gets through to the players, how much publicity and how much crap do they read and listen to. None of us know. We can speculate. I mean, you speak to more players than any of us, Terry, so you probably got a better idea. But
I honestly don't. I stay away from players because the only player I talk to occasionally is Corey, and generally I just give him a little bit of. I generally only reach out to him when it's not going well. When it's going well, I'm like, easy. When it's not going well, it's just more of a keep your head up. But honestly, I'm not trying to get into relationships and friendships with players. I just think I've got a job on this side of the fence. They've got a job on that side. So I think it wouldn't help my job at all.
Yeah, sure. I was going to say, you only talk to him when things aren't going bad. So you're talking to him. I
talk to him every week.
That's so sad. Just a quick fact to leave you with. I was looking at goal kickers this year, just having a look at the goal kicking tally, and Harry Mackay, Patrick Cripps 10 goals, Harry Mackay 9 goals for the season so far, which I because Harry's had a couple of really good games, but I was almost shocked when I saw that, and
I think Durden as well. Durden and Cripps are tied on 10 goals, and then Harry kicked 9.
So you just look at that and you're like, oh, we only need to make small changes. Well, maybe your key forwards should be maybe kicking more goals. No, I know it's easier said than done, but yeah, far out. Like when he's kicking like 40 a year and Charlie Curnow's kicking 60, 70, like obviously we're winning games. So got to work out a way to get him involved. And he hasn't got his brother this week, which sucks. I always love that rivalry. We've only ever seen it once, and there's no Zach Reed. So you got to be like, surely you can beat Laverde. Surely you can, I don't even know who the other defenders are. Ridley's out as well. So,
Yeah. Love it, mate.
All right.
Good to see you again. Hopefully
Thanks
chat to you
very
after
much,
a win
mate.
on Sunday.
Yeah. Good luck with it all.
See you, mate. All right. We heard Charlie speak about what the problem was. This was Jacob Weering talking with Jared Waitley on his take on things. Have a listen.
What do you review in your own game halfway through a season?
Yeah, it's a funny one. As you start to get a little bit older, you know that I'm not much of a footy head, but I have been watching a bit of footy this year and feel the key defenders rolling around. And seems to me that I guess the guy that maybe is the main interceptor of the team is getting a bit more attention. And Sam Taylor's certainly had a bit of that. Harris Andrews as well, Sam Collins, and that's something that I've sort of had to deal with over the last couple of weeks. And it's a little bit annoying at the same time when you're playing on a Jesse Hogan type and someone's on your back. But they're the little challenges that I've probably got to work through a little bit better in game. And whether it's, it's not necessarily having your 5 or 6 intercept marks and challenging in contest, but how can I help the next guy? How can I help Nick Haynes? How can I help Harry O'Farrell to do his job? And for me, I feel like I've had a reasonable start, a consistent start to the year, but I'd still like to have a bit more of an impact in the air and in contest. So I think our ability to move the ball as well is also going to help that defend up the ground a little bit more. We talk about front half turnovers as being a really big KPI for most AFL teams, and we're playing a little bit in our back half at the moment. I'd like to be up the front half and moving the ball inside 50.
So I'm trying not, I won't insult you here, but
No.
when you have a game so it looked like you had a poor game against
Sure.
the Giants, you've lived a lot. How do you absorb a game that maybe isn't all that you expect of yourself?
It's certainly 24 hours of, I feel sorry for my wife, put it that way, a pretty bad mood. But as I sort of mentioned, you get a little bit older and you understand that, good players don't play 2 bad games in a row. And you've got some really good support in behind you, your coaches, your teammates, and I've got to be able to back my ability in to respond. And as a leader of the club, you can't be down in the dumps for too long. And Cripper's the same, Walsh is the same, Charlie, Harry, these sort of guys, we've got to lean on each other. And for me, I'll be leaning on the defenders to help me out a little bit in those situations when I may have a defensive forward on me. And likewise, if Sauce is getting the same attention, Nick Haynes. So naturally, very disappointed in the way you sort of perform. And going into the bye, you certainly want to give yourself a launch pad in the back end of the year, but it's one of those things you just got to move on pretty quickly.
What do you think about that? I think it is a very important message when he's asked about, what do you do when you're struggling? And his first answer was around trying to help someone else. I think that is an important principle for getting a good team chemistry going. So there was that. And then I watched the Nick Newman interview on Ball Magnets. If you haven't watched it, it came out late last night. And he was asked by Tom Mitchell just around he opened up about everything, his whole career. It's actually a great listen and a great watch. Highly recommend you watch it after this finishes. I just want to play this one clip about talking about the boys and the group this year.
How is the vibe at Carlton at the moment? Because obviously it's always tough when you had a few losses and there's media scrutiny and pressure on the outside. What are you guys at 4 and 7 at the moment?
Yeah.
How is it internally, and how do you, block out that external noise, which every club feels at some point?
Yeah. We've got the bye, so it's probably come at a good time. It's a nice opportunity for us to sort of reflect on the first half of the year and reset. To be fair, I think it's actually been pretty calm inside the 4 walls. And I know we say that and people probably think you're just saying that. but it actually has. And Vossi's he's extremely measured, which I've really enjoyed as a coach. Is that even when you're going well, he keeps it quite level and calm, and yeah, he can really, especially post game, he can really sort of zoom out, look at everything rather than just jumping to conclusions.
It's a massive skill. Fly's really good at that too.
Yeah,
like he's big on whether we've won or lost. Like it's going to be the same sort of feel.
Yeah,
which is hard to do in a results-driven industry.
Yeah. And it's so easy to say, but it's so hard to actually do.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and it's really hard when you're losing, or the pressure's against you. It's easier to do when you're winning. And so, yeah, I feel like we've done a pretty good job of that this year, even though haven't won as many games as we liked. I think the other part that's helped that is we don't feel like we're far off. We feel like for a large part of the year, we've been defended pretty well. We've been winning contests and pressure. We feel like, there's probably been a little bit of a lack of polish at times, and we've struggled to sort of put scoreboard pressure on at times. But we do feel like we're doing a lot of things right, which on one hand is comforting. On the other hand, it's sometimes more frustrating because you don't feel like you're nowhere near it, and you just got to get to work, and it's going to take time. We feel like we're doing a lot right. So, and the other thing is we feel like we've been here before. 2023, we had a challenging first half.
A massive run.
We went on a run
trot or something.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, it might have been. But yeah, we feel like we're capable of winning games and getting on a run, and so that's what hopefully we'll do after the bye.
Yeah.
I also think they'll go on a run after the bye. It's just a matter of by how much. And at the end of the day, the supporters will jump on board if you start winning. Win this week, win 2, 3, 4 in a row, win 5 in a row, and then watch the launch pad. So yeah, they got another chance. They got half a season. They got 12 games. Which brings me to my next question. I've asked everywhere. I've asked Paul. We were at the MCG last week. I asked Twitter. I'm going to ask you guys. How many wins from the remaining 12 games? We can go one by one, but how many wins are you predicting for the next 12, out of the next 12 games that we play? John, we haven't actually been sent mail, but we already were told from Vossy that Williams and Silvani will be in. And then I think Chincotta's coming in. 10? I say 10. Mate, it's Carl 10. It's Carl 10. It's Carl 10 wins. Carl 10 wins. Telling you. 8, 6 or 7. Xenomeritis. None. You've had enough. You checked out. Fuck him. Your head says 6. Your heart says 12. 9, 7, 6. Nah. I mean, I'm delusional saying 10. I think my losses were Collingwood and Brisbane. Or was it Hawthorn and Brisbane? Hawthorn's off a 5-day break. Debbie, the talk of the great defense kills me. There's 18 players back there. Yeah. Only thinking about this week. So you should. That is fair. 7-ish, 11, 10. Or if we beat Essendon, 9 or 10. Carlton sounds like a wog saying Carlton. That's right. 16 in a row and take the flag. Is that what it would take from here? 16 wins in a row? Don't say it. No. That'd be ridiculous. The EJ Witten game is on again. I'm hearing social media people will be picked to play. I'll nominate both Terry and Pom. Haven't got the invite. Don't think I'll get the invite. I'm not an influencer. Six or seven at the most. James, I don't know what's happening with Harry. There's been a little bit of chatter around him not training today online. Apparently he trained yesterday. I don't know. We've got about 10 minutes, 11 minutes until the teams come out on, I think, Channel 7. And then 6:20, we get the extended teams. So we're not going to get the final teams till tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow from about 4 p.m. So we'll be back here chatting amongst ourselves. No, you can't. You can't be a fan without being delusional. Also, if anybody wants to jump on, here's a link again. What up, only Carlton? I see you. I see you starting to believe. 10 wins if we lose to Pies and 3 away. I think it's... I'd like to think we could beat Collingwood with our tails up. Because you just know it's going to be, they've already locked in top 4. They're not going as hard. Yeah. Just want us to beat the Pies. Nah, I don't want us to give up on the year. As dreadful as it's been. Tatum, you're guessing 6 or 7 from 12. Probably finish between 10th and 13th. Okay. Alex, you can. You're lying because you wouldn't be tuned in if you were like really over it. That's the thing about a lot of you. You come on here and you complain and you still tune in. Leave. Go away. Go on. Go be somewhere else. You're here because you want to be here because you're loyal. And you love it. And I love you being here. Harry's not playing. Are you sure? Is that confirmed? 16 wins, beat Collingwood in the finals. Oof. Bassett is a chance this week. Who? Aiden, where are you seeing that Harry's not playing? I've missed out. We're going to be delusional. Then we win our next 44 games, go back-to-back flags. I still think they're going to suck us in, give us a little sugar hit at the bare minimum. There will still be a point where we are believing. I'm sure of it. I think it'll be in the next month. Season's over. Well, Teddy, massive clean out, end of the year. DeConing's first to go. Oh, that was my other question. I was listening to the full interview with Weeders and Jared Waitley, and he was talking about, what was the quote? It's really interesting stuff. The quote was basically around, are we going to be able to mature as an industry? And he said, I look at the NRL and the maturity in how that goes handled. Let me start again. I look at the NRL and the maturity in how that code has handled players that are moving on to other teams. And I think we are not quite there yet as a code. So my question is, if DeConing comes out in the next, couple of weeks and says, hey, I'm going. A, would you want to know if he's going? Would you want to know if he's going? And then B, if you did know that he was going to go, would you still want him to give his absolute everything for this year? Basically, I'm asking, are you ready for a situation where a player like DeConing says, I'm leaving, and you know about it before the season ends and he confirms it? See a rock go and get trained for 2 weeks? Nah. Man, I hurt my back this week, Monday morning. I've been struggling all week. I'm nowhere near playing footy. Just come out and tell us already. You would not play him again. Archer, you would boo him. Caden, you would want to know and you would want him to play. Okay. Yes, we do, as we would play someone else to give them a go. Why play him? Fair. All right. If we were playing finals and you knew he was leaving, would you play him? I know it's like crazy talk. Yeah, I get it. 4 and 7. Finals is so far away. But let's just say something crazy happens and they go on a run and qualify for finals. And then he says, hey, I'm leaving. Would you want to play him in the final series? If he plays, boo him, fuck him off if he doesn't want to be there. If he's going, stick him in the 2s. Okay. That comment tips it for me. They know he's gone. Yeah. You are part of the Church of Pitternet. Ship TDK off. Yeah. 100% correct. We tune in because we love the club. Exactly. So that's why I love having it here. Give him the Lockie Henderson treatment in the 2s and get Harry O'Keefe in for a few weeks. Okay, this might have been before I asked the question. If we were playing finals football and we qualified, would you want him to play in finals? No? Yes. No finals. Yes, finals. Yes, finals. Yep. No, because you're petty. There's no right or wrong answer. I would personally, if we qualified for finals and I knew he was leaving, fucking oath I'd want him playing. Like, absolutely. Like, anything could happen. You've got to play the players that help you win. I would play him every game. He might do a knee. Use him in finals and discard him well, we could make him the sub again in a final just for shits and giggles. Or maybe this time he can get subbed out instead of Kennedy. You do what's best for the club always. So you play the best players and he's one of ours. Well, is he the best ruck we have? Yes. Then yes. Okay. 100% play him in finals. Aiden.
Oh,
you got a freshie. That's a freshie on that head of yours, mate. These are good, positive signs.
Yeah, I don't think it'd mean anything, but yeah, I've just got one before because my hair was a bit long and I don't like a long, so yeah, just gonna keep it at this length now.
Nice. So yeah. you were sort of saying like if you knew DeConing was leaving, would you want to know before the season ends? Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
then if you knew
yeah,
he
I'm
was
leaving, I'm not playing him. I don't care if we make finals or not. I'm not playing him because, like, if he wants to leave, then put him in the reserves. Like, I don't care if we're on a 10-game winning run, making finals. Like, if he's gonna leave, let him leave.
All right. What if we made a prelim and you knew he was leaving? Would you want him to play?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out like your threshold of like, okay, how far does it need to go before you would play him? Interesting.
If let's say if we go on this enormous run, which I cannot see happening, like I have no confidence that we're beating Essendon this week. If we go on this massive run, and if he says, "Oh, like I'm leaving" and all that, and if I'm fucked in the head, then if it's a prelim, sure. If the season's dead, then I'm not playing him.
Fair.
Because I know that even if we do make finals, it'll probably be a repeat of last year. But knowing the club, they will probably play him still when I wouldn't.
Fair.
But
what if he said, I'm leaving, but I want to... What if he said, I'm leaving, guys, just want to let you know and be honest, but I want to try and win a flag before I leave. I love this club, and I would have unfinished business if I didn't win a flag with this club, and this is my last chance. But I want to be honest with you. I'm leaving, but we're going to have a crack at it. Would you get on board?
Like, are you saying like now? Like if you said in 2-3 weeks' time?
What if he said it? Let's just say we win 4. let's say we win 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And we come up against Collingwood and he's like, I'm leaving, but I want to give it a crack.
That's I don't I still wouldn't play him.
I'm fucking with you.
But if it's huh?
I'm messing with you. I'm just playing with you. I'm just like fooling around.
Yeah. You're trying to get me to say I will when
No, I'm just
but
listen, man, it's grim. I'm trying to have some fun.
Yeah, especially in these dark times that we're in. But it's a good conversation to have because I feel like it's a split. Because again, how will the players handle that as well?
Yeah.
Because it's fine saying, the supporters. It's fine that supporters are probably 50-50, but again, we're not out there playing. It's the players. But I don't know. Some will probably be fine with it. Others won't be. But
yeah.
I still wouldn't like him.
You look at Liverpool, Trent Alexander-Arnold, different sport, different situation, but passionate supporter base. This guy won everything there is to win with them.
Yeah.
He's come through the ranks, academy player, and he's still got the, fuck off. I mean, he obviously went to a European rival, and that might have something to do with it as well. So I don't know. I'm just really interested in if we're ready for that as not just Carlton fans, but like footy fans.
I mean, if we did, let's say, win something, and then he wanted to leave and explore something else and wanted to help St Kilda, wanted to help St Kilda, then fair enough. Like, I would be fair because he helped us win a flag, like he was a part of that team. But because we haven't won anything, and if he came out and said, "Oh, I'm leaving" in the middle of the year, then like I really like him. Like he's one of my favorite players, but I wouldn't play him.
Fair.
But yeah, because with the Alexander-Arnold one, like that's a bit different because he won everything, and fair enough them giving him a little bit of stick. But if TDK won us the flag, fair enough, clap him off. You did what you could. You won us the flag. 17, how good and all that, but because we haven't done anything, I'm not.
It's very interesting because I think fans want loyalty, but you win the flag and it's like loyalty doesn't need to happen anymore. You gave me what I wanted. I don't need you anymore. It's a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, I mean, if we do ever win one, which I don't know when we will, then that's a probably good conversation to have again sometime soon. But
do you want a live reaction to the teams from Channel 7?
Ooh.
So Silvani, Williams, Fantasia, and Chincotta into the squad. O'Farrell, Lewis, Young omitted. Obviously, it's an extended squad. So I'll get the team up when it comes up here on screen shortly. But that
probably may. Will they actually play O'Keefe?
I don't think so.
I don't think they would. No, I think it's just to make him fit in with the numbers because it's an extended squad. Do you know what happened to Harry? What's wrong with him now?
I don't know. I mean, who said there was something wrong with him?
No, I'm just assuming because whenever a big player like ours isn't training, then I'm probably a bit of a culprit that I get a bit upset. So it could be anything. He probably didn't attend today, but I don't know. Did they have main training tomorrow?
Well, Vossi said in his presser that they gave senior players a couple of extra days off if they needed them. Doc had one earlier in the week. Cripper did. And Harry didn't train today from reports. Maybe he just had a day off.
Yeah.
Or maybe he trained yesterday and not today. And maybe everything's okay and he just didn't train and he'll still play.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. On the TDK thing, do you think he'll leave?
I think when it's all said and done and when he considers everything, I think he's going to stay when it's all said and done. Turn down that kind of money. Yeah, I get it. Life-changing. I wouldn't begrudge him if he left, But I think if he thinks about it long term, life, not just his playing career, I think he can still have earning potential and opportunities in a similar way here. And I genuinely believe he loves it here at Carlton. So
Yeah,
but I don't know. Do you think it boosts us? Do you think it gives us a little bit of a... On the flip side, I asked you, what would you do if he left? What if he said, I'm staying? Do you think it gives us a boost to time the run? And
Yeah, because he's been in the media every week ever since this 1.10 billion contract came out. He's just been in the news every single week, and even the club, like with how shit everything has been. If he did sign, I don't know, like in 4 weeks' time or even next week, then I do feel like it kind of eases everything, and I feel like there'll be that sigh of relief, and then distractions will be elsewhere, because I feel like the club is just getting everything, like a lot of distractions, and I feel like that he's kind of been a little bit of a like baggage. Like I'm not trying to say that he's distracting the club, but like I feel like the media's doing a good job at distracting the club and what they want to do, because it's not helping him. Because I personally don't think that he's made a decision yet, to be honest with you. Like the way that I look at it, he looks happy. Like, and the main thing is, like, if you're happy, then that says it all.
So if he stayed, would that give you more confidence that the culture of the group is locked in? I mean, there've been doubts around the group and their connection and you know, rightly or wrongly, whatever. But if he said, yeah, I'm staying, would that give you more confidence that, hang on a minute, this group really is connected to one another and the culture might be better than what I thought it is?
Yeah,
because it's life-changing.
to an
It's a
extent.
life-changing opportunity to turn around. Down.
It's life-changing money, but it's life-changing money. But at the same time, like, he could earn more here, or probably the exact same, maybe due to incentives or sponsorship deals. Who knows? But I don't know. But I don't feel like there's like a cult, like anything like there's. I don't feel like there's like culture damage at the club at the moment, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Because they look like they're smiling, they're laughing, and all that. Like, to me, that seems like they're happy, and they somehow, like, besides, like, I'm the opposite. Like, they still seem to feel confident about the year. Like, even Weering said it last night, which I didn't really agree with, but yeah.
Fair. Well,
I feel like.
Yeah, go ahead. What were you saying?
What? No, I was going to say, what do you think will happen Sunday? Like, do you think we'll win? And my second question to that is, if we don't win, what will genuinely happen? Will we see 2023 toxic scenes, riots, and sack Voss everywhere?
I think so. Yeah, I think it'll get pretty nasty if we lose this week. Yeah, I think so. Personally, hope not, but I think if we did, it would get nasty.
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't really be shocked if we won or lost. Like, that's how I am at the moment. Like, I don't care. But
well, we can either win or lose, or we could
if we
draw.
do win, then if we draw, then that just says it all about both clubs and where they're at. But if we do win, then next week against West Coast and North Melbourne and Port.
Well,
so, yeah,
one at a time, my friend. One at a time.
Yep, one at a time, and I'll be there. I have to be there. I don't want to be there, but I'll be there. Even though my dad did his meniscus, like, he did a knee at work, and I think with the meniscus you can't really walk, and he's like, yeah, I'm still going. So they better fucking rock up and they better win, because if a guy that's 50 years old that can't barely walk can still make it, then I'm sure that 20 other players can get a job done on Sunday.
All right, Aiden, mate, speak to you soon. See you tomorrow.
All right. See ya, bye.
See you, mate. He's fired up. He's fired up, the big dog. He loves it. All right. So We know that Harry O'Farrell and Lewis Young are out. We know that Williams and Silvani are in. We are then seeing Fantasia, O'Keefe, and Chincotta on the extended bench. So Haynes, Weering, Sard, Silvani, McGovern, Hollins in the back line. Doherty, Cripps, Akers, centre line. Cooper Lord, Harry Mackay, Lockie Fogarty, half forward. Sam Walsh named in the forward pocket with Charlie Curnow and Zach Williams. And then you've got DeConing, Chera Hewitt. And then in order, the bench reads Matt Carroll, Fantasia, Motlop, Will White, Hudson O'Keefe, Alex Chincotta, Corey Durden, Jackson Binns. For the Bombers, Parrish, Lual, and McMahon have been named. I watched Brad Scott's presser, and he mentioned that Parrish would play if he got through training. So that's an interesting one there. Liam McMahon, you just know that narrative and when that's going to go. When if he plays and if he plays well, like, why didn't we draft him and get another key forward in when we clearly need a dynamic forward? But anyway, what do you think will be the final teams? Tomorrow we're going to be here 4 p.m. I'll start. 5 p.m. the final teams will come out. But based off what you've seen here, what do you think? Sorry, I've got the wrong tab up here. Based off what you've seen with the interchange bench, what do you think? Who do you think the 4 names will be that will play? So write down the 4 players on the bench plus the sub in brackets. Because I would say that everyone named on the field will play. So if we're just trying to chip away at the interchange bench, what would you do? Joel has entered the chat. I thought you gave up, mate. See? You all just want to sit here in pity and talk about how fucked we are, but you still tune in. You all have hope. I don't care what you say. No matter how mad you are, you still have hope. Good to have you here, Joel. Always good to have you here, mate. Mob definitely plays. Okay, so Lou, you're going to guess Carroll, Fantasia, Durden, and Chincotta with Binns as the sub. Okay. Joel, of course, you are always well. Anyone's welcome if you want to jump on and have a chat. Link is in the live chat right now. Albert, you're guessing Hutto, so Hudson O'Keefe, Binns, Motlop, and Fantasia. So who's your sub? Binns, O'Keefe, White out. Hang on, have I missed another one part of your comment? Okay, I don't know what's happening there. Hang on, where are we? Matt Lang, you would guess Carroll, Binns, Durden, Pomcotter with White as the sub. Dustin Moforth, great name. Fantasia, Durden, Chincotta, Carroll with Binns as the sub. I think I'm with you on that. Oh my days. Look who it is. Oh, he's left. Joel, he was there. I think he's on a public transport. I just think they would have told us by now if he was debuting. Don't you think? It would have just been content for today. I guess they still could do it tomorrow. I don't think we need to play Hudson O'Keefe. Unless we're going to continue with Lewis Young's position in the team and replace Lewis Young with Hudson O'Keefe. Okay, maybe there is an opportunity there. Nitro Goat, Fantasia, Chincotta, Durden, and Carroll. Fantasia, Durden, Binns, Chincotta. I would love to see Chincotta playing. Jack Martin getting a run this week at the Cats. Good on him. At least we know he's not going to kick the 40 goals and make all Australian like a lot we're predicting. Pom Cotter. Pom fucking Cotter. Daniel, it's my energy. It makes you feel less depressed with them listening to me. But I'm morbid about it. Pommy is up and about. He's eating a full chicken like a complete. Peter, you're guessing Fantasia, Chincotta, Durden, and Carroll, with Binns being the sub. So I think Silvani comes out for O'Farrell. No issue there. Williams comes in for Lewis Young, and we don't play the three talls, and we bring in Zach. I don't think Durden has done enough to be dropped. I want Chincotta in. So Durden, Chincotta, Orazio. That's a fourth change. Durden, Chincotta, Orazio. Durden, Chincotta, Orazio. That's kind of three forwards. Maybe not. Maybe it's Durden, Chincotta. Durden, Chincotta. I think I'd keep Matt Carroll in. Durden, Chincotta, Matt Carroll. And a fourth. It's a great opportunity to get Jesse some time in the twos. If Jesse doesn't play, then I think Orazio will play. Or Jesse could be the sub. But don't know what the point of that is. We win a flag if Hudson debuts. Leg Dog promised Pitto and TDK will never win a premiership. Okay. Jack is in the 18. Yes, he is. True. Grant, you think Binns will play as we haven't got another mid on the bench? Good point. Very good point. Young dropped as much about the weather. I think so. Why debut Hudson? Yeah, I agree with that. Do I really think Motlop will be dropped? Do I think he will be dropped? I don't. No, I don't think they'll drop him. I don't think they'll do it. It's Pomspiracy time. Chincotta, Durden, Binns, Carroll, Fantasia sub. Fantasia, that's the sub. Okay. Will this be the worst loss in your memory if Carlton lose? Will this be the worst loss if we lose? You know, I really do think the Richmond loss is one of the worst losses. Time just hasn't gone on long enough to really think about it. But I really do think that's one of the worst losses I've ever seen. Carroll, Fantasia, White, Motlop, Chincotta as the sub. Binns needs to be playing for a mid on the bench. I definitely agree with that. Joel, I think you're just reveling in the pity. But here you are on the team show. Not only is it the team show, it's the extended team show. So, like, you know that this is happening again tomorrow when the final teams are announced. So that tells me you've still got a little bit of love and hope in there somewhere. stored in a dark place in your heart, which has been consumed by this dark, unaccountable footy club. You agree the Tigers loss was the worst. The Adelaide loss in 2020, that was bad. Collingwood 2022 was bad. Sydney/West Coast 2021 were pretty bad. GWS 2021, that was fucking atrocious what they did that night. GWS a few weeks ago was awful. Adelaide at Marvel last year, early in the season, was a bad loss. Oh, yeah, the final. Christian, nothing will ever beat the GWS loss where they play with 16 players on the ground. That's right. Oh, the collars against the Hawks. That's definitely up there. Christian, I did see your comment earlier. There is a 10-year reunion for the Thomastown Bears premiership team that I was a part of. I can't wait for that. Okay, tomorrow I'll be live from 4 p.m. Final teams will be announced at 5 p.m. Joel, you were going to call it already. This is going to be the worst loss. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So we're going to go from 4 wins, 1 draw, 8 losses in 2023 as we lost to the Bombers that year. And you think we're going to repeat it? You think we're going to go 4-8? Yeah, it'd be pretty bad. Like, it would be worst case scenario if we fall to 4-8 after the bye when we're meant to be, yeah. This could be the worst. But you're tipping us. This is Carlton. This could be the worst win, the worst loss of all time, but I'm tipping us. Enough said. All right. I did miss you all. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Mr. Cabinets for doing wonderful things by supporting this show. We will be here tomorrow. Final teams will be announced and we'll go from there. Oh, that's right. Before I go, so over the bye, I sent an email out to members of the channel and I sent an email out to non-members of the channel. If you are not subscribed to the email list, I have some time. I'm writing wills. If you need your will done, take this as your sign. It's that easy thing that you just put off to another day. If you're interested, if you need yours upgraded, updated, or if you haven't got one and you know you need one and you just want to get it done and you want to have a chat about it, get in touch with me. Send me an email, message me on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. We'll set up a call and I'll help you out with it. So otherwise, see you tomorrow. We're preparing for death is, yes, basically what we're doing. Go Blues.